inaugurate this in a minute. As you can see, we are powered, hopefully, by bicycles, so even our cycles are by today, and that's very, very important. We have got, when they're ready, I'll tell you, I'll just start. You all know why we're here. We're here because that actually human rights count, because human rights are important and because they affect all of us and they are universal. They apply to everyone. And I am someone who was brought up in the 80s, and that's when I cut my political teeth, and that's when I learned that the slogan that means most is an injury to one is an injury to all, and all of us have to fight for each other's human rights. Thank you. The cyclists are now looking relieved. The burden of the gig was on their shoulders for a moment there. I'm going to quickly tell you a couple of gags, and then we're going to introduce the lineup. We've got an amazing bill for you. We've got Susan Calman, we've got Joe Lycett, we've got Dana Alexander, we have got Zoe Lyons, we've got Stephen K Amos, we've got Chris Coltrane, we've got speakers from Equality Network, and then it all finishes in some kind of mass, possibly naked action.
Whoa,
almost. For those of you who can hear me, I did a book. I went round Britain a few years ago asking people to come up with policies to make the world a better place, and each night the audience would put in policies, and we would discuss the policies, we would vote on the policies, and we'd try and find policies to improve our lives. And one of the great things, you would often find that there was a link between the place that you were working at and the ideas that they voted for the manifesto. In Leicester, they voted their favourite policy that all future monarchs should be buried in secret and at random in car parks. In Hull, they voted, and you could hear the northern contempt dripping from every word. The Hull policy was, it should be legal for us to take fashion designers outside and bash them into the shape they think we're in. We had in Glasgow, the policy was bacon free on prescription. Rolling back the boundaries of preconception and stereotypes. In Edinburgh, the policy that they voted for was for a money-back guarantee on strike action. So if you went on strike but lost, you'd get the money you would get had you gone into work. We've had lots of brilliant policies, some of them about politicians. There was one that Michael Gove shouldn't be able to abolish a qualification unless he's passed it first. There was another one that George Osborne drives a bus at 30 miles an hour. If Britain's credit rating goes below AA, the bus explodes. There was one for David Calman, which was all future MPs should have a face that fits their head. Anyway. There are lots and lots of lovely, beautiful, wonderful policies. In Crawley, 5 months ago, they voted to give the Isle of Wight to Argentina. So there's a whole range of policies that got voted on. And I'm pleased to say there's a massive amount that were about social justice. In Cardiff, they voted that anyone found guilty of a homophobic hate crime should serve their entire sentence in drag. We had a lovely policy that was voted for, that all members of the British Nationalist Party, I think this applies to any variation of the EDL, should be forced to trace their family ancestry and publish it. Because I think one of the great things about living here is the fact that we are a mishmash of folk. Ever since these islands have emerged, people have come to it. We've had Celts, we've had Anglos, we've had Saxons, we've had Vikings, we've had Normans, we've had Romans. We have had every combination. The first black people came to this country with Roman legions. We are a multicultural nation. We are a hodgepodge nation, and much the better for it. So if you're going to come up with some crazed idea that there is, one, such a thing as the purity of British bloodline, and two, that this pure bloodline means you actually love the country more than anyone else, then you better be pure. Because a lot of these BNP, they come over here. One of my favourite, I'll tell you two of my favourites, and I'll get one of the woman who I'm in love with at the moment on stage for you. And you look rather, oh no, it's great, it's flirt action. One of my favourite ones was from North London, where they voted that all models should be chosen at random from the electoral register. And I love that idea because it completely rewrites our narrow-minded vision of eroticism and beauty. It means that actually, if you're an advertiser, you can't go, I want a skinny woman with big breasts. You have to say, I want a model. And we will say, we will get the electoral register and a massive tombola. And we all pick up random. Any one of us could be the model. I could be the model. And the people doing the modelling will be informed of their assignment the same way people get told about jury service. So I'll just get a little letter in the post. I'll be sitting there at breakfast going, bloody hell, I'm doing Calvin Klein tomorrow. One of my favourites, and it's always been one of my favourites, was, oh, there is actually a lovely one here, that says, this got voted, I've forgotten where it got voted on, but it said, all police officers should wear badges with I'm here to help. I want to say, actually, this is, don't say this too loudly. I've never said this before. But thank you to the police officers for helping us facilitate this demo. Seriously, don't say I said that or I'll sue. I mean it. I was talking to one company who's so nice. He was just so nice and pleasant. I was sitting there just thinking, well, there's the act gone down the drain. So, one of my favourite ones that we voted on, and it was voted on in 6 different places, was for equal marriage. That we should have equal marriage, and I'm really proud of the fact that we now do have equal marriage. I know some people have always said, no, you can't have equal marriage, you can't have it. You can't have it, Mark, because it's unnatural. And to those people I say, no. I'll tell you what's unnatural. UHT milk. That's unnatural. 2 people loving each other is entirely natural. 3 even more so in South London. Some people go, no, Mark, we can't have equal marriage because it will undermine traditional marriage. And to those people I go, no, what undermines traditional marriage is married people shagging people they are not married to. And you cannot blame the gays for that without a very elaborate conspiracy theory and possibly state-of-the-art prosthetics. Some people say, no, Mark, we can't have equal marriage because God forbids it. And they will quote Leviticus. And the section they'll quote is Leviticus 20, chapter 20, verse 13, which says, if a man lies with a man as with a woman, both of them shall have committed an abomination. Leviticus 20, verse 13. If a man, quite obvious, God does not like gays. If a man lies with, obviously this applies to gay men, lesbians, you're in the clear. That's your Bible, that's your rule book, that's your instruction manual, that's what you believe. However, Leviticus also says that any woman menstruating should be kept separate for 7 days. And on the 8th day she shall cleanse herself by sacrificing 2 pigeons. Leviticus 15 verse 29. 2 pigeons, very specific, not 1, not 3, and it's a pigeon, not a chicken, not a hen, it's not a swan if you're the queen, I've just come off, will you burn it? You know, it's not that. The pigeons will be killed by a priest who shall wring their necks at the altar and then burn the featherless fowl at the east side of the altar, not the south, not the north, not the west, not mass great pillar fight, no. Burning the fowl at the east side of the altar. Very, very, very clear. Despite these clear instructions, I have yet to find people campaigning for free pigeons with every box of Tampax. If you want to follow the Bible, your church should smell like a grease fire in Nando's. Now, we have got an amazing bill for you today, and I want you to clap and welcome and cheer every performer who comes up here. And we're going to start with the most wonderful, you're just too gorgeous, too gorgeous. Please welcome the wonderful Susan Calman.
Even though I'm standing on a box, I'm aware of the fact many of you can't see me. I apologise. It's also the only time I've been this close to a sweating man in a very long time. Handsome. This is just, I'm not really going to do any jokes because, oh my God, this is actually the most remarkable thing that I've ever been part of. This is so beautiful, thank you all so much. I grew up in Glasgow in the 1980s. It wasn't the easiest place to grow up. It was as easy as being a vegan in an abattoir, being a lesbian. And I went on my very first Pride March and realised what it was to have support. And so many of you come, gay, straight, LGBT, 2 lovely people from the Fred Macaulay audience have come. You're not even from Scotland, you're on holiday, and bless them, they've come. Give them a round of applause for God's sake. I always say, comedians have very few talents apart from the ability to stand still and say things, and this is what we're doing today. And the main thing is, trying to get the mainstream media, trying to get everybody talking about what's happening in Russia so that people understand. Growing up with Section 28, which is in no way the equivalent of what's happening there, was difficult. If I hadn't found a teacher who was brave enough to tell me I was okay, I don't know what would have happened to me. And we need to support people in other countries, because I don't want anyone to ever go through what I went through when I was growing up and everyone told me it was wrong. And the Conservative government tried to stop information getting to people like me, who, to be honest, are just the same as everybody else. And in terms of the equal marriage thing, it's not quite legal here yet. And the other thing we need to do is keep hammering on to Holyrood to get that bill passed so that I can marry my wife as soon as is humanly possible. This is it's very odd. Anyone that's ever seen me on stage thinks that I'm one hell of a bolshy Glaswegian lesbian, and I am. But I'm also someone who's hugely affected by the kindness of humanity of others. And all of you coming here today is just the most beautiful thing. Oh God Almighty! It shows that Scotland cares. It shows that if you're straight you care. It shows that we all care, and we just need to keep shouting back to Russia and say to them that it's not acceptable. Thank you all so much, and I apologise for getting upset, but thank you all so much for coming.
Performance nor speech like that often, my friends. Oh my goodness, I don't know how Chris Coltrane is going to follow that, frankly. But Chris, that's your task. Are you ready? Okay, I want you to welcome and cheer and shout a performer from the Free Fringe, a friend of mine, and generally a radical chap and a lovely man. Please welcome Chris Coltrane. Thank you so much for coming out. So I'm going to talk about bisexuality and biphobia. I figured that might be on topic. Before I do, I just want to say, Vladimir Putin says that it is wrong to promote homosexuality. It is wrong to promote homosexuality. Well, if that is what he thinks, maybe he should stop posing for photos like this. Don't do yourself any favours, mate. They say that the homophobic people are normally secretly gay themselves, and if that is true, I think Vladimir Putin is taking that to its logical extremes. Like, the most homosexual man in the world is going, ban it, ban homosexuality, ban it, make it illegal. Now let me take off my clothes and wrestle this bear. So, thanks, mate. But I'm going to talk, before I do start talking, just introduce myself for people that don't know me. Hello, my name's Chris. I live in London. I live in a part of London called Finsbury Park. If you don't know Finsbury Park, I'll let you know. Basically, it's where murder comes from. We make it there, we wholesale it, we export it out to Hackney. Right, check this out, this is true, right? On the Andover estate of Finsbury Park, where I live, there was 3 murders last year, right? 2 of them were retaliation killings for murders that happened the year before that. You think I want to be a comedian? I don't, I just don't want to go home. Maybe stay in Edinburgh, it's a lot nicer than that. It doesn't feel like home. I tell you what feels like home in London, and this won't be surprising, Vauxhall. Do you know Vauxhall in London? That's a cool place, man. There's nice parks, cool cafes, cool people. Vauxhall's probably most famous for being the home to 24 gay nightclubs. And MI6. And I suppose that does make sense, doesn't it? That MI6 would want to set up shop next to all the gay clubs, and Vladimir Putin would agree with this, because the gays are up to something, aren't they? They're up to something, we don't know what, but the Secret Service is going to find out. Because what are the 3 things famously that gay men like? It is musical theatre, interior decorating, and smuggling UK military tactics into Afghanistan, isn't it? That's what they get up to. Like I say, I'm bisexual, I like boys, and I like girls, so Vauxhall had a lot to offer me. But then anywhere has a lot to offer me, if I'm being honest. You put people in a place, I will perv on them. That's what I do. I'm getting quite good at it as well. For example, I might be perving on you now, sir, and you would never even know. Never even know. But there's a lot of rubbish that is talked about bisexual people. Like, the homophobic abuse is nasty. Biphobic abuse, it's just weird. Like, I know there's probably bi, but give me a cheer if you identify as bi. Then you will back me up on this. The one thing that everyone says, that every single person says about bisexual people, is that bisexual people are greedy. You heard them say that? They're so greedy, aren't they, the bisexuals, gobbling it all up, don't they? Hang on, where's all the sex gone? Bloody bisexuals have taken it, that's where it's bloody... How can you be greedy with sex? I haven't taken all the sex.
I'm flattered that you think I have, but there's still sex left. If anything, us bisexuals, we're making sex. We're generating new sex. We're like sex catalysts. We're creating the stuff. I don't even know how you can be greedy. The only way I can think you could be greedy when it comes to sex is if you're a guy or a girl and you had a really hot body, but you just stayed indoors masturbating all day. That'd be greedy. We'd share it around. Let everyone have a go on it. Be greedy if every time I saw someone hot in the street, I just put my hand straight down their pants and went, right, you're mine now. You're coming over with me. Clean the cupboard. I've got 10 men and 11 women in there, and they're mine. Hands off. Make your mind up. That's the other thing people say. Have you heard them say, make your mind up? Having consensual sex with men and women makes me sick. Which I think just goes to show how backward and sexually repressed British people are. That they can't conceive of the idea of being attracted to two things. Like, that's the most ludicrous idea ever. You wouldn't say that about anything else, would you? Like, blonde or brunette? Make your mind up. Black people or white people? You can't have it both ways. Choose one arbitrarily. And like you say, what do you mean, make your mind up? And in my experience, they normally say one of either two things. They either say, you can't have it both ways, which you can. I have. Brilliant. I cannot recommend. Seriously, when you get it right, the guy underneath and then the girl on top, it's like sexy Lego trying to piece it all together. Like... Sexy Lego. Or they say that bisexual people are just gay people. I've actually heard someone say that. Just gay people who are either lying to themselves or are confused. Which is a weird accusation for me, because actually my sexuality is about 80% women and 20% men. Like, I like men, I'm attracted to them, I like having sex with them, but I don't think I could have a relationship with a guy. Maybe if the right guy came around, but I don't know. Having said that, up until recently, I hadn't had sex with a guy for almost 5 years. I've made up for time since then. Don't worry, I'm greedy, so you can't get enough of this stuff. But in that sort of dry spell, I genuinely had friends that said to me that because I hadn't had sex with a guy in such a long time, that I wasn't, and I quote, properly bisexual. As if it's a license that you have to renew. Imagine getting that letter from the government, like, dear Mr. Coltrane, we notice you haven't sucked a penis in 5 years. If you do not suck a penis within the next 10 working days, we will be forced to downgrade your sexuality to bi-curious. Thank you very much for having me. I have to go and do my show now, which is at 3:30, and is ironically about convincing people to go out and protest. So I'm now going to leave a protest and go and tell other people to protest. But my name is Coltrane. This has been an absolute joy. Thank you for coming out and fighting with us. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Hey! Chris Coltrane! I want you to keep the applause rolling now and welcome our next performers. We welcome up Dana Alexander.
Oh my God, you guys sound great. I was wondering when he was going to take his helmet off. I thought that was the funniest thing going. All right, so nice of you out here. I'll make some noise if you guys have ever been to a gay pride parade. Yes, I love the gay pride parade. The only thing I don't like about the gay pride parade is when companies use it specifically to advertise, right? You're trying to have a good time, you're thinking like, wow, there goes the gay Royal Bank. I'm just saying, it's a gay pride parade, you know, do your thing, do a backflip, it's a parade. I come from a gay family, my little brother is gay. A lot of people believe that being gay is a choice. I know this is not a choice because I've met gay toddlers. That's some funny shit, let me tell you. There's never a moment in my brother's life when he wasn't gay. When my brother came out of the womb, it was just like, hey! Now, the hard thing that was hard for my brother was, we come from a Jamaican side on my, Jamaican family on my father's side. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Jamaican culture, but it's a very homophobic culture. And I gotta say, it was very difficult for my brother growing up because all he wanted to do in his childhood was dance. He had to do it like Anne Frank in the basement of the poor thing. Right? You catch him downstairs, he's doing all these dance moves, all like, I've got broken bones, not from the sticks of stones, but from the neck. And my dad wasn't even trying to notice. I was like, what boy from Alberta knows this move? Come on, Dad. Greg is gay, la 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 la. When he found out my brother was gay, he's like, oh, don't worry, I'll talk to him. I'm like, what are you gonna say? He's gay. Why don't you just come to the parade? And then I had that other uncle like, oh, don't worry, me and Greg will have a man-to-man chat. I'm like, Greg loves man-to-man. That could work, right? My mom is gay. She didn't come out in a very traditional way. What happened with my mom was she just had a bunch of new friends. I called them the short hair plaid ladies. They were very handy. They were handy if you wanted to fix that deck, that fridge door, that window, they were there. And my mom came out when I was about 11 years old. Now, she didn't tell me. What happened was I was at one of my dad's concerts, and I remember seeing two of the short hair plaid ladies dancing very close to each other, right? Hands in each other's back pocket. I'm like, oh, Mom's friends are lesbians. My cousin's like, Dana, you're an idiot. Your mom is a gay. So yes, it's nice to be here. Now, I was raised by, a very interesting background. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm not the girliest of girls. I can't wear makeup every day. Do you ever see those girls that wear makeup that one day? Do you know that don't wear makeup that one day? You're like, oh my God. Do you have cats? What happened to you? Yes, I am not the girliest of girls. It took me until I was about 25 years old just to get a handbag. Before then, I used to just stuff everything in my bra. And then you take it off the end, it's like ching, 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 ching. I'm like, look at that, car keys changed. Ooh, chicken nuggets. Anyways, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. Take care.
Daniel Alexander, my friend. Daniel Alexander. We are blessed with a plethora of talent this afternoon. A plethora of talent. I'm almost turning into that bloke from the good old days. But I want you to welcome the next performer up here. She's remarkable. She, like everyone here, is performing at the Fringe. Please welcome the wonderful Zoe Lyons.
Hello! I am performing at the Fringe. Nice to perform for an audience for a change. This is great. I'm going to protest every day. I thought I'd start off by playing a little bit of music. I probably can't actually hear that, which I should have thought through more, but there you go. It dawned on me the other day. I don't know whether you're into sports. Lesbians into sports? Come on, must happen. Yeah, well done, girl, well done. I was watching the sports over in Russia, and I don't know whether anybody saw this, but a particular pole vaulter, Yelena Isbayeva, came out and suggested that by being homosexual, I was indeed not normal. They were her words, not normal. I just wondered what she considered to be. Here he comes. Oh, can you hear him? A little bit of Tchaikovsky, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of Tchaikovsky, because I did wonder what Yelena considered a normal Russian. Would it be Putin, as Colin said, stripped to his waist, picking pike out of a river? Or would it indeed be a Russian genius like Tchaikovsky? Would that be considered a normal Russian? A normal, gay, genius Russian? Thank you very much. I don't know whether he'd be accepted into Putin's society these days. God knows, Swan would be killed instantly by a crossbow. But I take offence at being called not normal by a woman who has chosen to make a career out of running at a crash mat with a giant toothpick. It just offended me. I'm sorry it did. I have been with my partner, my girlfriend, for 15 years, ladies and gentlemen. It's what I'm most proud of in my life. I imagine it's considered a non-traditional relationship because it's actually 4 years longer than an average marriage. So, and if this is the sort of relationship that so frightens Russia at the moment, then count me in, because we are so boring as a relationship. We haven't even changed our energy supplier in the last 5 years. That's how dull we are. Is it a normal relationship? Is it? Hell, of course it's not. I've yet to meet a normal relationship. My girlfriend had to cut me out of my own anorak last week. Hardly a normal relationship. But we are very, very much in love, and that's all that matters. We had a civil partnership 6 years ago. It was a beautiful affair, it really was. I'll be honest with you, we didn't think things through properly when we were campaigning for civil partnerships, because I thought it was my wedding day in my mind. I thought, I'm going to make an effort. I'm going to make an effort. I am going to make an effort. I hadn't banked on the fact that my girlfriend was going to make more of an effort. We didn't think that through as a problem, did we? Just two women turning up on their wedding day. I was stood there going, I wanted to be the princess. oh, Russia, why are you doing this? I love vodka, it's killing me. I'm going to have to drink gin until you change your mind, quite frankly. I'm not fond of gin. I do like a drink. Being here at the Fringe, I've been drinking perhaps a little bit too much every now and again. It dawned on me I was probably consuming a bit too much the other day when I got up, turned to my girlfriend and went, ooh, that's a very nice breakfast wine. Not normal. Not normal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm lucky enough. I live in Brighton, which is a city. Yeah. Whoa, Brighton girl. Yeah. It does produce that sort of response, doesn't it? I love it. We're very lucky to live there because we are largely accepted where we live, and that is such a privilege, and it's a basic human right, and I'm very, very happy for that. I've got a lot of gay friends down there, and the thing that strikes me living in Brighton with a lot of gay friends is we're all different. We're all different. Gay is such a big umbrella. We are all so different, and we all have different things to bring. You know, people assume because I'm a lesbian that I'm a vegetarian. Does anybody else get this? In the room, do you get that? Yeah. Are you a vegetarian? Good girl. Good girl. I'm not. I'll eat if it's still alive. You see, that's the thing. I don't mind the vegetarians, honestly, my darling. It's the vegetarians who want to squash their vegetarian foods and meat-based products. They're the ones I don't fully understand. The veggie burgers, veggie bangers. I think to myself, no, sorry, if you don't want the meat, you can't have the shapes. But there we go. We've all got our cut-off point. Go home, listen to some Tchaikovsky. If you can say it properly, Tchaikovsky. I've been Zoe, enjoy yourselves. Take care, thank you so much.
Zoe Lyons! What I want you to do now is welcome a man from the Equality Network. We're going to have a speech here from to really, I don't know what you're going to say actually. You didn't warn me, you didn't let me see it. But I think we should warmly welcome Scott from the Equality Network.
Thank you, everybody. I don't know how you quite follow some of the amazing acts that we've got today. I'm going to be a bit more dry. I've got no comedy for you. But my name's Scott Cuthbertson. I'm from the Equality Network, which is Scotland's LGBT rights charity, and we work for equality and human rights in Scotland. And we're also at the moment working with the Russian LGBT network on supporting them and helping them to fight against what they're facing in Russia. I want to thank Mark for organising today's event, for hosting today's event. Big whoop for that. I think it's an absolutely amazing turnout, and it shows that we all really care about what's going on in Russia. I also want to thank Stephen and Susan, Joe, Dana and Chris for giving up their time today. Hey. Now I make it there's about 300 of you here today. If we were in Russia right now, there would also be police surrounding us. But they wouldn't be here to support us, they wouldn't be here to protect us, they'd be here to forcefully break down what we're doing. They would have barricades up, there would probably be some right-wing fascists in the corner ready to come plunging into the crowd, as we saw in St. Petersburg and in Moscow. And when they do that, the police don't arrest them, they don't tell them to stop what they're doing, they support them. They watch idly as people are beaten up and people are punished. By coming to an event like this in Russia, you're putting your job at risk, you're putting your family at risk, and you're putting your friends at risk. And that is just all because the Russian government have decided that they will have laws which, although are not in criminal code, that criminalise LGBT people, that say that our relationships, that our very existence is a threat to Russia and Russian society. We don't think that's acceptable. So I'm going to get back to the comedy, but what I want to do is I want to send a message to our Russian LGBT friends and allies that Scotland supports them, that Scotland is standing with them, and that Scotland will not stand by and watch while they are tortured, beaten, murdered and victimised by the Russian state. So let's make as much noise as we can, and let's get these people in this building to hear us.
don't think they've got double glazing thick enough to not have heard that. Thank you very much, Scott. That was wonderful. Thank you for coming on. Please thank you, Scott. Before I bring on Joe, I need to tell you a couple quick more manifesto policies, my friends, which I feel I should. Politicians should have to wear tabards displaying the names and logos of the companies with whom they have a financial relationship. Whenever there's a Barney in the House of Commons, they should play the Benny Hill theme tune. What else have we got? Windsor to be renamed Lower Slough. The Daily Mail should be forced to print on the front of every edition the words, "This is a fictionalised account of the news and any resemblance to the truth is entirely coincidental." And possibly one of my favourites, which is to renationalise the railways. I think we should just renationalise the railways. The railways privately run are so bad that I promise you I've stood on a delayed and packed platform in Clapham Junction in London and witnessed with my own eyes a grown man declare the words, "You bloody liar!" to a tannoy system. "You bloody liar, why will you stop lying?" London people famously reserved, famously don't like getting involved, famously don't like public displays of emotion. That man got a round of applause from every single person on the platform. With the exception of my wife, who genuinely did look quite embarrassed. I want you to welcome up here our next performer. Please welcome up the very lovely Zoe Lyons. Big round of applause, my friends.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, thank you. This is my voice. This is actually happening, don't worry. I'm not a homosexual. Oh, some of you laughed at that. I'm also a bisexual, which means you're all at risk, essentially. I love being bisexual. I tried to explain it to my parents as a sort of gay here, straight there, and then sort of bisexual people in the middle. And there was a lovely look on both of their faces where they're like, "Oh God, we could both be targets." That was lovely. But it's confusing sexuality, and that is demonstrated by this amazing thing that I found. This is a college application form from America, and these are the sexual orientation options for you. There's bisexual at the top, which I'm happy about, then gay man, then gay woman / lesbian, just in case you weren't sure what a gay woman is, heterosexual / straight, then other, which could be, I don't know, pizzas, that kind of thing. Chinese, that's an option. Chinese. Do you come out as Chinese? Mum, Dad, I'm Chinese. We always knew you loved noodles. Presumably so many people put Chinese in the other bit, they went, we've got to give it its own tick box, it's so popular. It's a billion of them. But I like to take on homophobes, I enjoy it. I was driving through Birmingham recently. I'm from Birmingham, you'd never know, would you? I never had the accent, I was born better, but I was driving through in my Ford Fiesta and I pulled up some traffic lights and this car of 4 sort of chubby lads pulled up alongside me and the driver went, "Batty boy," like that to me out of the window. And I don't know why he thought I was batty, but I turned down the Dolly Parton CD and adjusted my sarong and asked my boyfriend to stop wanking me off. And I was going to say something, but the lights turned to green, so they sped off in a Toyota Yaris, absolute gangsters, in a cream Toyota Yaris. And so I didn't have a chance to say anything. What they didn't realise is there were traffic lights a few hundred metres ahead and they were on red, so they're about to be presented with me again. I also spotted there was a telephone number on the back of the car and the car was for sale. So I just jotted the number down in my hands-free, pulled up alongside and went, "Oh, fancy seeing you again." And they'd lost all confidence, just completely ignored me. I was like, "Maybe I should ring you on the telephone number on the back of the car." And the guy went, "Nah." The guy next to him said, "Yeah, do it, it's his dad's telephone number." Right? Just immediately changed loyalties, just like that. Just went with whoever's winning, like Man United fans. And I was so I rang the dad, basically rang the dad. He went, "Hello," and I went, "Hello, this is Mr. Batty," just for fun. "Hello, this is Mr. Batty. I'm interested in buying the cream Toyota Yaris. Does it include the 4 gorgeous men I saw inside?" I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just saw it driving down the Stratford Road in Birmingham." He's like, "He said he was in the library." Right? All of the lads went, "Whoa!" And I was like, "Yeah, also, is it going to include a clean as well? Because I think he was kissing his boyfriend inside." The dad went, "I knew it." At that point, I went, "Whoa!" we're just going mental. I was like, I'll buy the car, I'll ring you back, hung up. And he was so livid, it was beautiful to see. And I was like, yeah, I'm batty, what are you going to do about it? He was like, oh, I'm going to bang you out. I was like, sounds fabulous. This is lovely, this is so beautiful. Thank you so much for doing this. I will have sex with Putin if that's what it takes. Thanks very much, bye. Please keep doing this.
And it doesn't stop there, my friends. Will you welcome up the most amazing, the most lovely, the most brilliant, Stephen K Amos.
Oh, goodness. Hello, everybody. It's great to be. Can I just say thank you, ladies? Fucking, that's amazing. That's, look at this. For the future. A bit like Russia. Yeah, like everyone has said, I'm also very happy to be here to lend my support. A friend of mine was killed 7 years ago in a homophobic attack in London, and that made me make a documentary called Batty Man. Everyone saw that, and I did a show about it in Edinburgh about 5 years ago, and a young white teenage boy come up to me and he said, I saw your show Batty Man on TV, and it made me tell my parents I was gay. And my mum looked at me and said, you're still my son, I love you. And that just inspired me to let me know that each and every one of us, particularly here this afternoon, you're here to lend your support. We all have a story, we all have a journey. I myself have experienced prejudice in all sorts of forms. I did a show in the East End of London, a place called Bow. Do you know it? Yeah, it's full of men, geezers, men, real men who can barely read, but nonetheless, men. The sort of man that goes, right mate, how's your father? Fuck off, I don't know me father, wanker. So I thought, these aren't my natural audience, but what can I use to get them on side? So I said this, I said, hi there, anyone in from overseas? A little voice at the back went, yeah mate, you! I didn't understand. And at the end of the gig, the same young man comes right into my face and he goes, well mate, I never fucking knew black people were funny. I know, and I said, well, some of us ride bikes, have been known to ski, work with rudimentary tools. He didn't know what I meant. So I think I'm winning. And that's the beautiful thing about coming to Edinburgh for the festival, right? Even the Lord is on our side. This is a rainy fucking city, not one drop. Damn you, Russia! Look at it, it's amazing. And you can always have a laugh here throughout the month of August, particularly with our American friends who come to stay and enjoy the shows. Last week when it was raining, 2 Americans walked up to me. I knew they were American because they were wearing bin liners. One of them says to me, excuse me sir, up there in the distance, is that Edinburgh Castle? Is that the castle? I couldn't resist. I said, no! That's Gotham City. They're like, oh my God, you know everything. Who are you? I said, I am the last king of Scotland. Just see, they're just jokes. Just see. And if you're not from Scotland, do what I did last year. Go and visit the Highlands, a place called Aviemore. Now, the locals call it the Hollywood of the Highlands. I can assure you, it is not. One light bulb does not Hollywood make. And there's no real diversity up there either. There are ethnic minorities, there are no Ouija's, there are no women. I mean, obviously there are, but you can't always tell the difference. And I said to the lady organising the show, I said, excuse me, are there any black people here in Aviemore? She was like, oh, aye! Oh, aye! There's Black Tony. I was intrigued, I had to find Black Tony. I found him. He was Spanish. Well, that's what about you Scots, you're quite direct, yeah? You're so direct. I was in a fish and chip shop last night. I said, excuse me love, is that cod or haddock? She looked me in the eye, she went, fish! You can't argue with that, can you? And when I was at fish and chip down south in Plymouth on a gig, I said, do you have any tartar sauce with that? The guy looked back at me quizzically and said, no, but we've got lilt. A totally tropical taste. But I, for one, and anybody here who feels they were or minority or being judged, what you never ever should have to have any reason to look over your shoulder. Be honest with who you are. That's why I can't bear hypocrisy, right? Top of this year, the Archbishop of St Andrews and Edinburgh, Keith O'Brien, yes? Yes, a very vocal opponent of same-sex marriage and abortion, etc. Very vocal about it. Then somebody made serious allegations against him. He issued a statement saying, "I will fight these allegations vigorously." Thousands of Catholics around Scotland defended him based on that statement. A couple of weeks later, he issued another statement saying something like, "Sorry, but I touched cock." Now, obviously I'm paraphrasing, but what a dickhead, right? I don't ever want to be judged, right? My first early gig, the audience didn't like me at all. I got nothing, so I got very, very drunk. At staggering home about 10 o'clock at night, in the distance I saw a little old lady. And folks, as she clocked me, she clutched her handbag thus. Yes, something inside me died, folks. So I went over to the little old lady, and I took that handbag. If you expect fear, I will bring you fear. Did you hear that, Russia? If you expect fear, we will bring you fear. We will not take this lying down, right? And can I just personally add another big thank you to each and every one of you, and to the wonderful, the most amazing man I know, Mark Thomas, for making this fucking happen. Stephen K Amos, my friends! The remarkable Stephen K Amos.
We have a couple of housekeeping announcements to make, and that one of them is this: well, I'll tell you the worst one first. There's some people dressed as nuns. They've got bags. If you can put £1 in, it will help cover the cost of the generator and all of that. And so if you've got £1, 20p, whatever, just bung it in, then we cover the cost of the journey. Thank you very much. They're easy to spot. The second thing is really the hard work starts after this finishes. The hard work starts when the festival goes away. Obviously not for the cyclists. Oh, we should give a round of applause for the cyclists. Thank you very much. The hard work starts when all the razzmatazz of the Fringe goes away and it's a rainy evening and the vigil's here again. And it would be wonderful if as many people could come here when the festival is gone and hold Putin's Russia to account. And if you could, that would be great, my friends. The other thing, the other public piece of housekeeping really, is at the end we're going to do a special photograph and a quick shot for STV, the media, and for Equality Network. And all we'd ask is that if everyone just turn around, face the other way, not now, wait, I saw you, and we can take a photograph of everyone just with the embassy in the background. That would be marvellous if you could do that. And the only thing I want to say to you is this. This is the last thing, which is, this is the kind of activist prayer really, the activist mantra, and it's this: our struggle for human rights is endless, so our vigilance must be ceaseless, and our compassion must be boundless. Thank you very much for coming along.